Campea Show. With that down, Chris, what is our first main topic today?
First, we're hearing from Ross Tanenbaum. Hey, John, HBO Max has been announced, and this means that Friends and the CW shows are going to be pulled off of Netflix. On top of that, Netflix is also losing The Office and their Disney stuff to competing services such as Disney+. Is Netflix doomed? I don't know about this. What do you feel, Rob?
I talked about this a lot on my own show yesterday. Mm-hmm. And look, Netflix's stock is up. It's valued at what, 150 million. It's a very worthy, very expensive stock. Netflix is going to contract. A lot of the things that people watch, we know, we've talked about on this show. Netflix paid $100 million for the rights to show Friends in 2019. Just 1 year, they paid $100 million. Friends, as they announced in the Hollywood Reporter yesterday, is being yanked off the service at the end of this year. It is going over to HBO, or was it Warner Brothers? Yeah, HBO Max. First of all, I think the branding, using HBO like this, is a brilliant idea. But I think that what Netflix is doing, we talked about this yesterday as well, with the Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie. What's it called? Red Notice. Red Notice. They're trying to make Netflix a destination spot for first-run big movies that are theirs. But as we've also pointed out, they haven't done such a great job of doing that with their films. They're going to have to rethink their business model. They're going to have to be very careful about how they spend. But as somebody pointed out, it's a lot more difficult to lose subscribers than to gain new ones. So Netflix is going to be okay for a while, at least. And I would suspect in the future they will get acquired by somebody. Somebody's going to buy Netflix.
Who can afford Netflix?
Well, that's the thing. What's going to happen is their stock price is going to contract. It might take 5 years, but it's going to get down to the point where the streaming wars have just begun, and the person that's going to suffer the most, or the entity, is going to be Netflix. And eventually they're going to be so battered and broken that somebody's going to sweep in and grab all of their programming. And it'll probably be a good deal and everybody will come out right. But I think for the most part, Netflix has been the only game in town for the last decade.
Yeah.
And now they're going to suffer the slings and arrows of what is it like to have competition like every other business. And it's going to be rough.
And you know what? It's a double-edged sword, because it's not just the new competition. This has been a rough month for Netflix on that front, because not only do you have the NBC Universal streaming thing coming, not only do we have HBO Max, which we'll talk about more here in a second, and not only is the massive, cannonball coming down the pipe in Disney Plus coming, so it's not just competition, it's that the result of competition is that Netflix is losing some of their most watched programming. The two most watched things on Netflix is not Stranger Things. It's not any of the Marvel stuff. It's not any of their original movies. The two single most watched things on Netflix are The Office and Friends.
Which is so weird.
I know. What was that study we were looking at before? I was like 75% of Netflix's traffic is not Netflix original material, but rather curated other material from other places. Not only they got the competition coming, they're losing two of the biggest bullets in their chamber. They're losing The Office, which is going to go to the NBC Universal streaming app. That's going to be happening in the next year or two. Now it's announced they're going to be losing Friends. So it's like this double-edged sword. They are gaining competition and they are losing their most popular content. And I think that's why, Rob, you were pointing this out yourself, that's why we're going to see Netflix in the coming months making desperate but probably smart, the two can coexist, moves at the same time. They way overspent on this Dwayne The Rock Johnson property, $130 million. They overspent on it, but they had to. It was the right move. And I think in the coming months, we're going to see Netflix make more and more really desperate moves that are also probably well-advised moves, because you can deal with competition. You can deal with losing some content. You're really up against the wall when you're having to deal with both at the same time.
And John, you and I have talked about this a lot, how they don't promote their shows. Like when
they do badly.
When you get into Netflix, you don't even have a sense. They don't even create the sense that Stranger Things did it by itself. The nostalgia and the genre audience, they created their own buzz around Stranger Things. This was not created by by Netflix itself. But once you watch Stranger Things, everyone said, like, how many households? 50,000 or 50 million people binged it this past weekend. Well, once it's binged, it's done.
Yeah.
You know, they don't string it out like a Game of Thrones season gets strung out for 10 weeks. Well, this season was 6 weeks, but they would string this stuff out, and it would be part of the conversation, the cultural conversation, for a long time. Netflix doesn't do that. And Netflix has not made themselves into a destination television spot. They've turned themselves into it's more like a Costco, where here's all this stuff. And if you know what you want, you walk into Costco and you do a surgical strike. You don't go to Costco and like wander. I guess some people wander the aisles, but you go to Costco to buy items in bulk that you need. So you go to Netflix to watch a show that you've heard about and you binge it, and then you get out. You know, and they've not made a place where people are going to go, I got to go into Netflix and see what's there. Because when you get there, it's a cacophony of noise. They don't curate it well. They try to, but they don't really. I mean, you know, you're an anime fan. Like, I like anime too, and it's like, how do I know if I, as a middle-aged dude with one foot in the grave, if I want to dip in to modern anime or whatever they're watching? Like, I don't know, One Punch Man. Should I watch that?
Yes,
is that different from One Piece? I mean, what's the difference? One Piece, One Punch Man, are they the same? I mean, I know what they are, but and I have watched all of One Punch Man, but it's a lot of people don't, and they don't do a very good job of explaining it. And I think that's another fatal flaw that now it's coming home. The chickens is coming home to roost, y'all.
Well, and look, and just to bring the conversation back over to HBO Max, this is a bold move. Because they have come out big with this. Because not only is it going to be all the content from HBO, they're bringing over a lot of old catalog stuff. Again, they're going to be taking Friends back and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of that going on. They're saying they're going to be launching with over 10,000 hours of content. On top of that, they got some of the CW stuff is going to come on there. A lot of the DC stuff is coming on there, which, by the way, they still have made no official word that they're going to be axing and closing down the DC streaming service. I guarantee you that's coming. They're going to fold that DC streaming service in. They got stuff from New Line, TNT, TBS. They're going to have some CNN original stuff on there. They are packing this thing out. The big question for HBO is going to be their price point. Because right now, I think HBO Now goes for about $15 a month, which is already on par with Netflix. You know this is going to be a little bit more expensive than that. But they're going to try to make it a value play and say, look at the value you're getting for this money on this. This is going to become this streaming landscape is going to become real interesting really, really fast. Chris, let me ask you this. I mean, I know you've got some streaming services. We got like 5,000 others on the way. You're reading about this HBO Max thing. As somebody who's already subscribed to other stuff, does this look like a value play or does this look like an unnecessary addition?
Honestly, it's not something that I'm particularly interested in. And what are we all doing with HBO subscriptions anyway? We're all sharing the same password. I think 7 of us actually have HBO Go, and that's it. What I'm more interested in is honestly the shows that aren't available. Someone pick these up for me. You know, the Nickelodeon app is horrible. That's a horrible app. Get that, Netflix. Make a little sub thing that says Nickflix on it and give me like my nostalgia cartoons. I will go back and I will watch those things. I think the thing to look at here is to see what is available, take some Viacom properties, take some other things, and HBO is going to do what it wants. I have no desire to watch Friends again. Do miss The Office, but that's going to be a sad one. But there's so many other things that they can get, and Netflix is so good at taking chances. So if they really focus on playing up with their genres, playing up with the interactive things that they've been doing, which they're doing more of. We've got Kimmy Schmidt coming. If they keep doing more interesting, sometimes gimmicky things, we're still going to keep coming back. No one's canceling that subscription.
All right, guys. Well, the question for you now is, what does this HBO Max announcement do for you? Does it make you think, damn, now I got to start picking and choosing? Do you think maybe there's nothing interesting there? Are you more like me where I think this looks very attractive? What do you guys think? Jump down in the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.